Hey everybody, Brian here from clientlabs.net. Okay, so let me give you a rundown of where we are at. Okay, so I've got a video I just created yesterday called this one right here, demo of C++, Intel TBB, Redis NOSQL, client on Mac OS 10. Okay, so this is not using an IDE, or actually it is on CodeLight. Part of the video will say in here that this is a fluid and not final, okay? Continuing from this video, what I want to do is to take the client library, and I'll show you what I'm trying to do here just to give a proper history. So if you come under Redis.io, C++ client, we have all these different ones, all these work under different conditions. I originally tried to use, I believe it was this one, now I'm trying this one. So this one, R3C, did not have my publish subscriber model. This one can be built, but I had problems moving it into an IDE like CodeLight. So after some investigation, I managed to get this one in, because I'm on a Mac using the most popular IDE for Mac OS 10 is Xcode. And I've shown a video on how to take CMake, the build system, and convert it into your IDE of choice that you want, be it Visual Studio, Xcode for Mac, or maybe Eclipse for Linux or anything else. And there's some other smaller IDEs support as well that are including CodeLight. So the idea was to get this Redis. Let me just show you the project itself on GitHub. So we've got all these instructions here on how to build it out. If you come under here, you'll see the installation. You got to make sure you have all these proper libraries installed. Lib, Hiredis, libev, and using these build instructions on your terminal, you should be able to build everything. Okay, and it does work. So the next problem was to convert that and get it running within the IDE, in my case Xcode. So what I've done is I just created a new video here called C++ demo of CMake to Apple Xcode. I'll show you how to convert the project of this and create a Xcode project from it. So that's where we are now. So what I've got here is I've got two separate projects. So what I've got here, just make sure. Going to try to open up the library one. Okay, so we have the Redis. Cool. Okay, cool. So this is this project here is the library itself. So if you come under source, this is it here, and it will build out the library for Redis. Okay, so that's the library that gets built. So that builds no problem, as you can see. So if I go into my terminal, I'll just show you what I'm trying to do here. So if I go under CPP, Redis, CPP, Redis. Okay, this is the project here that I'm referring to. Okay, this one right here. So in there, I've created an Xcode project folder. So these are all the necessary projects. But I've moved that into my Xcode projects. So if I go under Xcode here, okay, so if I go under Redux, no. I'm trying to think of where this gets created. Boy. Okay, here we are. So CPP, Redux code, Xcode, exactly where I want it to be. No, so we want to go back to where we were before. CPP, Redis, CPP, I believe it was Xcode. So we want to go red docs. So there is an Xcode here. And that's everything there, okay? So if you come under the release directory, you'll notice here, I'm kind of doing this wonky because I'm fairly new at Xcode. Now the current version of Xcode I'm running is 7.31. All right, so just want to give you a walkthrough of how I'm building out the library for this Redux. So you'll notice here, this is the one I just created. Sorry, this one right here just got created, or was created earlier today. So that's the actual library for Redux that gets created from this process. Now if I come under my test or client code, under the Redux example CPP, this was a real bitch to put together, to be honest. But again, I'm new at this, so bear with me. So let me just walk you through what we've done here. We have the source code here, and this is captured from this URL here, which is essentially at the bottom here. It's a very simple hello world example. Right here. I think this is it. Yeah, this is this is the simplest one of Redux, hello world. And basically what it does is it will include, you have to include the Redux header file. You have to connect into the local host of your Redis server running, which we've got here, right here, default 6379. And all we're going to do is just do a simple set of a collection called hello with the value of world, and output, when we do a get on the hello collection, we just output that result, which is obviously world. So when I run it, and it can build, as you can see, just run it here. There you go. So there's the output, hello, and then the result from within Redis of world. So let's say if I just broke my Redis server instance, rerun it. See, now it says connection refused. But obviously if I relaunch, rerun, everybody's all happy because it's now connecting. Okay, so let's walk through this wonky world of Xcode. Okay, first thing is if you come under build, well, let's focus on the libraries first. Build phase, link library with libraries. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I got a question out on, of all places, Xcode right now. Sorry, on, where is it? I am using, yes, I am using the Xcode library explicit settings, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is me asking what I'm about to show you. Hopefully I'll have a solution for it. But I just wanted to show you some of the weird things that go on with Xcode. So first things first is when you look under build phases, what you're typically going to add is the binary with libraries of libev, which is needed for Redux. You also need to include that libredux static and the libhiredis a library. So those got to be built out at the beginning. And typically, let me just show you on the folder here. So what we're talking about here is, what we're talking about here is, documents. Okay. So what we're here talking about is, okay, we've got this Redux folder that I showed you. We've got our Xcode project that we've created. I've shown you how to do that in the previous video. And we have this release folder. So here we know we can create lib static. If you do a apt get libev, here in the GitHub instructions, you will notice how to install everything. If you're, let's say, on Ubuntu, which is the easiest one to work with, is you want to make sure you've got these libraries included: libhiredis and libev. Okay, so you need to get those installed, built. In my case, what I did was I just did brew install, whatever the name of the library is. That worked fine, it seemed, and that will properly install it and put the libraries where they need to go. And same with libev, and the other one with Hiredis. But if that is not sufficient for you, what you can do is, if you come under here, under Hiredis here, you can build a little library yourself, and you can also include all the header files for Hiredis. But remember, this is C. So this should work, but here is where you will be able to build out the lib Hiredis. So if you go under GitHub Hiredis here, okay, this project, it'll walk you through how to build it, and it's fairly easy, and it should work locally on your system. Now, what is that, Redis? Okay, so when you come under clients here for Redis, you'll have two different things. What you're wanting to work on is C++, but some of these bindings leverage off of something called Hiredis. In my case, the Redux is using the Hiredis, so it's like basically a C++ wrapper for Hiredis, basically. So if I go under C here, what you'll find is the Hiredis, and this is the official support client for C. So this is managed by the founder and creator of Redis. So that will always be up to date. So you can get the Hiredis there and build out your Hiredis library. Woo, okay. So we've got the libhiredis a covered. We've got the libev and the libredux static libraries covered. So it gets a little wonky here. Now, as I said, I had to create a question. Yeah, I do use Stack Overflow a lot. Not a lot, but very infrequently. But there's this one I posted, and it gets kind of confusing because part of the build process, I've added these libev Hiredis, as I've indicated, but somewhere in the build process, it just renames them or creates them as EV and Hiredis, and I don't know where these get created from during the build process, okay? So as a temporary workaround, what I did was, if you come under build settings, and then you look under here, lib search path, what you'll notice here is under the same release folder that I just used and showed you. Redis CPP, Redux, Xcode. So this one I just showed earlier. Under release, you'll notice here I've got all these different libraries. So I have lib Hiredis, but I renamed it also as Hiredis and included it in this folder so that I could get the link process to build or to complete. Did the same thing with EV. So I have lib EV, and I also renamed it EVA as it wanted during that compile process. On top of, I've included that folder I just showed you as part of the library search path. Now I have no idea why that. There's a flag or somewhere getting set to create this problem as hinted on the Stack Overflow. So hopefully I'll get a better update. But as it stands right now, it's compiling. Okay, so that's the library search path. But you also have to worry about the search path for your header files. And basically where they're going to reside is based upon how you do your system. So in my case, if I do a copy here and list those files. Okay, so we need to include the Redux HPP and any of the other child header files as well in this folder. So that's number one. And we also had to include, as part of the compile process, the Hiredis, which I just showed you. So you need to include that folder as well. So here you'll see Hiredis, and that will actually refer to Hiredis and Hiredis again. And it'll include the Hiredis headers and anything else it needs here. So you have to, in a strange way, because the way it's been coded, to include, just do this again. So you just take it to the first Hiredis level. And you'll see there's another Hiredis subfolder in there which includes all the necessary header files. So that's number one, and then there's a standard include as well, the user local include, which is, now what we're trying to include here is the EV header. So we got that, so that's why I include that. Okay, so knowing all that, this is how you kind of get this working. So essentially, I have met my mission of being able to have an actual C++, not Hiredis, but a C++ Redis client, one of these guys, I can use to call Redis from within C++. On top of that, I've been able to get them working, but to get them actually working in an IDE was difficult, both for Linux and Mac, but I managed to fudge my way through it to get the Xcode working with an actual Redis testing app to call the Redux the Redux project here, and be able to call the library and then do all the Redis calls. So essentially that's all good, but took me a long time to get to this point. So I just want to show you how I walked through it, and might be helpful for some. Hey everybody, second segment. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a quick demo of what I've been after, the publisher subscriber model pattern. So this is the example here, taking it from the GitHub repository here for the read docs. And here in the code, what I wanted to show was, so I've commented out that hello world, and this is the publisher subscriber that I wanted to do. This is how cool it is. So basically we have a subscriber, and somewhere in there should be the publisher. So do our usual connect. So what we're going to do is we're going to subscribe to a collection called hello, and we are going to print out for each time we add to that, we are going to print out the result. So in another loop, what we've done here is, in a loop of 10, we are now publishing to hello collection in Redis, and then printing out in the other here as an event handler for the topic, of course, which is this message. So I'll get printed out each time that this publish, and this message is published to hello. Okay, so then it obviously sleeps for 5 seconds or 500 milliseconds, and then it will just continue along. And then of course it will disconnect, and both the subscriber and the Redis connection. So let me just run this to show you what I mean. Build succeed, and here you go. So that first line here, subscriber subscribes to hello, and then after that we've got an event handler, and then we've got a little code which will obviously print out the value of the topic, and then here in this separate loop we will publish, this is a pub sub message to the hello collection, and then do a sleep, and then continue along in the loop, and then at the same time it'll print out, because the subscriber to hello will print that out. So you can see what I'm trying to do here. It's a very cool model. Okay, so I just want to show that to you. Hopefully this will help you out.